I have always wanted to give Ashima some sort of backstory. Ever since her appearance in The Great Race, I have always wanted to see more of her history and why she came to Sodor. I've had this idea ever since 2016, when the Unlucky Tug made his review of The Great Race. He mentioned that Ashima never got the chance to have a flashback.
I feel like there is some untapped potential with Ashima that could be expanded on in the future, but the problem here is that we're never given any information about her or her backstory. There's never a moment where she tells Thomas about herself or where she came from.
This seemingly small line in his Great Race review gave me the seed I needed to create a story for Ashima. As Ashima was based on an engine from the Nilgiri Mountain Railway, the basic idea was, how do you get this mountain engine in the middle of the Blue Hills of South India to be a brightly painted tank engine who works at the Great Railway Show? That was the question I was going to answer. Funnily enough, I had actually seen the BBC's documentary about the Nilgiri Mountain Railway years before The Great Race had even come out, so I had already been familiar with the source material. Unfortunately, The Great Race never had such a flashback. However, 2 years later in 2018, we got the news that Ashima would be returning to the series, and she'd even be getting new episodes. Now, while I wasn't too excited about Big World Big Adventures, one thing I was super hyped about was the fact that Ashima would be returning to the series. Maybe we might finally get the Ashima episode we're all hoping for. Nope. In the 3 seasons of Big World Big Adventures, we didn't get a single lead episode for Ashima. I was so annoyed. She was a secondary main lead in The Great Race. Now in her reappearance, she gets nothing? Why? So while Ashima never got her story, my idea for her origin story still remained. So in 2021, I made these edits for Twitter on how Thomas could have looked in each country he visited, and the Indian Thomas caught the attention of Thomas Fan 2002. For those who don't know, Thomas Fan 2002 was making his own series on Big World Big Adventures and how it should have been done, and he wanted to use my Indian Thomas in the series. I gave him the thumbs up and said, sure, go ahead, and we started talking about what to do for Indian Thomas episodes. Eventually, I said about my idea for an Ashima episode, and Thomas Fan 2002 actually really liked it. So, he gave me the green light and we started writing the script. It was really important to me that this episode was authentic as possible to the Nilgiri Mountain Railway, as it could be. The names of the stations are real. The buildings are designed to look exactly like the Nilgiri Railway. The Kannur station is the real station where the steam engines stop.
Kannur is the midpoint and the heart of the Nilgiri Mountain Railway. The Kannur loco shed is home. Here, these vintage engines are rested.
And only the diesels being allowed up to Ooty is accurate.
Steam engines aren't allowed up past Kannur station, Thomas.
For the section up to Ooty, driver Hassan switches to diesel power.
Ashima carrying trains through the Blue Hills of South India.
Steam engines would travel up to the top of the line through the Blue Hills of South India.
Every day, the Nilgiri Mountain Railway carries passengers into the Blue Hills of South India.
Ashima being referred to as a toy train.
People relied on the railway and nicknamed me the toy train.
Fondly known as the toy train.
The same bridges at Jacob's Waterfall, Ashima's railway having no money.
With no money to get me up to date, I was left on the hoist in the shed.
So this railway loses £1 million a year.
Noor Jahan bringing Annie and Clarabel to the film at Ooty.
Noor Jahan has broken down on her way up to Ooty. If we don't send an engine up there, the actors won't get to the movie set.
Ooty is the location for some of India's best-loved movies.
Ashima's name meaning limitless spirit.
Ashima is the limitless spirit of this line.
And even the last line from the episode is the last line in the Indian Hills Railway documentary.
This line is not only powered by steam, but by love and devotion as well.
The Nilgiri Mountain Railway has been driven by steam and sustained by love and dedication.
I also made a voice cameo too. I am sorry, Ashima, it won't be safe to take the train any further. Boulders have fallen and the track bed has been washed away. But while all this stuff was in reverence to the railway, at the same time I still wanted to try and work Ashima into Thomas canon. Like, how did Ashima go from being this mountain engine to being a shunter at the Great Railway Show? Why was there 2 Indian engines at the Great Race? These were questions I still wanted to answer. So, how do you answer those questions? Well, I like the idea of Rajiv visiting the railway by chance and telling Ashima about the Great Railway Show. I also wanted to explain why Ashima was painted the way she was, and I thought perhaps she was originally going to enter the Best Decorated Engine competition, much like Rajiv, but had a change of heart because, well, just because we're well painted doesn't mean we can't do anything else.
I know it's risky, but just because I'm well painted doesn't mean I can't do anything else.
Just because we're well painted doesn't mean we can't do anything else.
So yeah, that was basically the whole idea for Hero of the Mountains. For those who want to learn more about the Nilgiri Railway, I highly recommend the BBC's documentary about it. For those who want to watch my Ashima idea, the link is on the screen now. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'm very sorry about my voice. I kind of lost it, but hopefully it didn't disturb you all too much. Okay, goodbye.